All right, so here are a few drills inspired by my deep pocket breakthrough, which I have a full video on. I'll link in the description below. While you're down there, if you want to join the Discord, free Discord server, talk about Form with other people, Patreon if you want to support, Formero if you want a form review. All right, some concepts I'll be referencing in this video, which would be prerequisites that I'm not going to fully explain here. Coil pause verify drill. It's a great way to simplify things to then work on the deep pocket. So I'll link that drill video in the description. And in that drill video, I talk about how you need to have a basic understanding of coiling and reaching back. And so I have videos on those as well. So I would start with the coiling mechanics video, the reachback mechanics video, and then the coil pause drill, which you'll now be able to do with that information on coiling and reaching back, making sure you're doing it properly. Once you have that drill is just really good at simplifying things and allowing you to focus a lot on the pull, something during the pull through a lot more easily. So very briefly, the idea of the coil pause verify drill and coiling and reaching back is like this. So you're going to set up with your right foot a little bit offset in front of your left foot like that, and then a little bit wider. This is kind of shoulder width for me where my arms are, a little bit wider than that. And now you're going to lift your arm up to around shoulder height. Make sure you're not shrugging. Now use this hand here to kind of like hold the arm in place. Don't move it. And now you're just going to twist through your spine until your chest is facing like 6 o'clock, where 12 o'clock is the direction you're throwing. And we're not moving the arm from here. The arm's always reaching away from the chest. And the feet are, especially the back foot, staying sideways to your target, 12 o'clock. So the arm doesn't move. It only looks like you're reaching back because you're turning your whole body back. Now it's okay if the front foot kind of picks up a little bit and pivots like this. It helps you to coil more deeply. All right, so for the first drill, I have a pickleball here. We're gonna get rid of the disc because there's a lot of bad habits that come with it. Now, unfortunately, pickleball is very light. It's too light for throwing hard, so don't throw too hard with it. I'd rather have like a tennis ball or a racquetball. At least it's a little bit heavier. But the problem with things even heavier than that is it starts getting more dangerous to throw it. So also with a ball, you don't feel it rip out as much with how you're holding it. So it's easier to kind of grip lock. And then if you try to loosen your grip or something, then it's easy to early release. So it's not the best for full-on throwing, but it still can be very helpful for breaking some bad habits, or at least helping you build some new habits by getting the familiar disc out of your hand. So since it's too light, the danger is if you throw hard after it comes out of your hand, you could lock your elbow too hard and kind of hurt your elbow. So we're going to start with the ball and use the coil pause verify drill as like the starting place for each of the different drills that we're doing, the variations. This is going to show you the main concept of what gave me the breakthrough for the deep pocket, which getting a deep pocket was one of the hardest things for me in disc golf. It took me longer to do that than to throw 70 miles per hour. So it's also not absolutely essential to throw hard or accurately, but it is, I think, going to be beneficial in the long term. So anyways, coil pause verify that I didn't mess this up. I'm in a good position. Now from here, we're just going to focus on our pull-through path going straight to the right pec and tap the ball to the right pec. Notice my left pec here, if I extend a line through my left pec, notice we're never crossing it if I just go straight to smacking the right pec with the ball. Now this line here is going to rotate with me as I rotate. So we're wanting to, in this coil pause position, just get the feeling of this is kind of what we're trying to do, and we're trying to get it started on this path right away so that by the time I start rotating and this line starts moving, we're in front of it. If you get behind it, if I start pulling towards my left pec, then the left pec is also coming in towards the disc or the ball, towards the hand, and now I can get behind it. I'm not behind the left shoulder, so I'm not rounding, but I'm now behind this line, and once that happens, it's quite a bit harder to get into a deep pocket if you've never gotten into it before. Now, I'm not saying that going straight to the right pec like this with this much exaggeration is the best way to throw with a deep pocket. It's an exaggeration. I'm still experimenting to see what's the, what turns out to be the best kind of way for me to improve my stats with a deep pocket. But what's most important about this is it actually got me to get a deep pocket. And now I can start getting used to the deep pocket and figuring out later how to kind of optimize it more. So it may actually be most powerful to come towards the left pec first and then go to the right pec instead of just going straight to the right pec like this. But that's something you can experiment with later once you actually feel a deep pocket and start getting more used to it. All right, so once you've done the coil pause and just got used to your arm feeling this with your elbow staying up, tapping the right pec like this without uncoiling, now we're going to get a little bit more dynamic with it, not throwing yet, but just reinforcing this feeling in some shadow swings. So bring the ball kind of forward away from you, and now you're going to start coiling, and you're going to tap your right pec and then reach straight away from your chest as your chest is turning back to 6 o'clock. And now we're going to start bringing the ball towards the right pec to tap it again as we uncoil. And then from there, just bounce and feel your arm fling open and start doing this, getting a feel for it, a rhythm. So for example, and I can even hear this pickleball whooshing a little bit or whistling because it's got the holes. Now I do really like using pickleball paddles, but it's a little bit too long. It can still be useful here, but you have to think of the hand being at the right pec and the paddles extending away from the hand. So the tool you're holding is not at the right pec. However, a ping pong paddle, being smaller, but you can still get them in a weight similar to a disc golf disc, could be another useful tool for this. All right, so now I'm just going to do a soft throw with the ball towards the target from a coil pause position, kind of holding it loosely so don't grip lock it because it's pretty easy to grip lock the ball. And I'm just going to try to go kind of tap my right pec and swing and let the ball kind of roll off my fingers. All right, one more time from a different camera angle so you can see it. All right, so after doing a few reps with the coil pause, now I'm gonna be more dynamic about it and not do a pause. And I'm going to get in a rhythm tapping the right pec. So my target is the basket. I'm gonna kind of bring the ball towards it and tap my right pec, tap my right pec as I start to coil, reach directly away from my chest, tap it again as I uncoil and kind of swing, towards the hit area over here, and just get a feel for this rhythm. All right, and then I'm gonna do 2 of those shadow swing rhythms, and then on the third one, I'm gonna swing. All right, so 1, 2, 3. All right, so you could also do this with a disc, like this shadow swing whoosh motion, but on briefcase the whole time. That's how you do the shadow swing and whoosh it. And tapping the right pec, or a little bit under the right pec actually, because your hand, when you're in a briefcase, is going to be here towards the right pec, the disc will be under it, whereas if it wasn't a briefcase, the disc would be touching the right pec. So shadow swings like this, starting from the coil pause position, try to tap the right pec. I failed to tap the right pec, which is not really a failure. It's actually really hard with the disc with such low profile like this. And also the left pec rotates in to the disc. So if you try to bring the disc in towards the left pec, it's very easy to hit the left pec. But notice the right pec, as I start bringing the disc in, the right pec is actually rotating away. So it gets harder to hit the faster you rotate. So in this drill with the shadow swing on briefcase, you may not actually hit it, but it's fine. It helps with the exaggeration of trying to anyways. So coil pause, and hear the whoosh. Okay, and then similarly with what we did with the ball, after getting used to the coil pause, gonna do it more dynamically without the coil pause and with the tapping rhythm. So 1, tap, 2, tap, 3. All right, so now some throws. I'll start with 2 from a coil pause position, and then with the more dynamic reach back with no pause. Throwing over the net, working on that positive launch angle. Okay, that was a little bit left of where I was aiming. Maybe I need to rotate a little bit more. I'm also not throwing full power, so I might not be committing to it enough. Oh, similar spot over the left side, but those are flying nice. All right, now without the pause, I should get some more power now. Also, it can be good to combine trying to curl your wrist as you bring it to the right pec. And again, it should be very hard to actually hit your right pec if you throw at a decent speed or above. And if your elbow is dipping as you try to do this, then try as you pull through to turn the top of it towards the right side of your chest, a little bit below the right pec, like you're gonna tap the top of it to your right side of your rib cage here. That will naturally bring your elbow up. All right, so doing a couple of these taps, 1, 2, 3, go rhythm, like I was showing before. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, I wasn't ready on the 3. Starting it over. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. Flew nice, felt nice. All right, going to pick up the discs. Something I forgot to mention is at the start of coiling, that tap to the right pec as you start turning back is also, it's not just to reinforce the right pec. It helps you not rush your reach back. You're not reaching back at the start of your coiling if you're going to touch the right pec first. So it helps delay the reach back and not rush it. And so then that can also help your reach back timing. All right, just for a little more clarification on what I'm talking about with that reach back timing, you'll see a lot of pros, they start their coil and their elbow stays bent. And then as they finish their coil, that's when they extend their elbow and reach back. So it helps to avoid the reach back finishing way before your brace lands. This is of course an exaggerated, delay of that, but for this context, working on the deep pocket, I think it helps reinforce we're wanting to get the disc here to this spot. So now I'm gonna actually throw towards the net, but I'm gonna try to do that kind of pump. So as I X step, I'm gonna pump it forward a little bit. I'm not necessarily advocating for pumps in general, but I find it useful here. So X step, pump, and then tap the right pec, reach back, and then try to tap the right pec again as I throw. These are flippy putters that I've beat in, so I got to put extra hyzer on them. Oh, hit the band. It'd be good also to try powering down, doing some approach shots here. Powering down can just make it a little bit easier to focus on it, and without rotating as fast, it's going to be easier to get the disc towards that deeper pocket. So depending on your preference, as you reach away from the chest, if I coil only a little bit to power down on an approach shot, it's going to look like I'm reaching kind of out to the side while I'm throwing that way. Other people, they prefer to coil still fully and then just try to, you know, slow their uncoil to power down. I like coiling less because it makes me feel like I can throw with a little more power, and it's easier to be touchy that way for me. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's why it's going to look like I'm reaching out to the side. I'm still reaching away from my chest, I'm just only coiling this much instead of this much. So I'm going to try to throw over the net and towards the other net, kind of like an approach shot power, but coming to tap the right pec. So I'm going to tap the right pec and then reach out like that and just do a soft little throw. That was way too soft. Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. Opened up the front foot a little bit as well since I was throwing too far left. Usually on approach shots I open up that brace foot a little bit. I'm a little more open to the target. And this is also working on nose angle. It's going to sail over the other net if it's nose up, but it's going up and then down since it's not nose up. Oh, that one. Let me see if I can get a more nose down one. So I'm going to think about turning it more into briefcase so then I can turn it more out of briefcase harder to get more nose down. It's kind of hard to do softly though. I might throw it too hard. All right, let's get one more. I got one more try to do that. Oh, dip down, hit it. All right, so here's another drill, and this is a good camera angle to see the deep pocket from. This would be perfectly to the side from where I'm throwing, so the camera angle is almost to the side, but a little bit to the back. It helps because once I get to here, you can clearly see the left pec and if the disc is in front of it or blocking it to the camera. So I got a balloon here, shirt's tucked in so it's a little bit, you know, tighter fitting, and then I'm gonna put the balloon in front of my left pec here. I used a ziploc bag, a sandwich size the last time, and filled it with air, which was smaller, and I wanted it a little bigger. This might be too big, I don't know, but I'm going to now try to do that pull through where I'm coming straight to the right pec, like smacking the right pec with the disc, which will skip this and get in front of the balloon. So again, gonna start in the coil, pause, verify position. Coil, pause, verify. I'm in a good position. And now from here, try to smack the right pec. I felt it like slightly grazed the balloon. All right, so after getting used to that, starting out at lower power and moving it up, then we could switch to the more dynamic, you know, coil, reach back and go with some weight shifting instead of pausing. This one's slow here. Powering up a bit. Now if you're hitting it too often, you can either inflate it less, or for this size, it's pretty big. When it's directly on my left pec, it's kind of protruding towards the center of my chest, so I could push it over a little bit further to the left, and it can still be, I think, helpful even if it's further to the left. And you could do it with the X step pump on the X, tap the right pec, reach back, and then smack the right pec in the pull through. Don't pop the ziploc drill. All right, I tried putting it on the right pec now to actually smack it. I never tried this before. It may not be worth it because when you do actually hit your chest, it usually messes up the throw a bit. The redirect gets kind of weird. But that's why smack the right pec cue is so good. It's so hard to actually hit the right pec. So you can try to do it without succeeding in a good way. But here, maybe if you're struggling to feel the pull through path and to bring it straight towards the right pec, maybe having a feeling of something being here can help with that. So I'm gonna try doing this time. I'm gonna try, as I start to pull through, to try to feel like delaying the rotation. I'm not gonna start rotating. I'm gonna try to pull the arm first a little bit more before I start rotating so that I stay closed for longer. The arm has even more time to get ahead. Lastly, we can use a pulley machine or a TheraBand attached to something to work on the deep pocket position, get the arm shoulder more comfortable with it, with a little bit of resistance. So I like to try to simulate the position I'm in instead of just fully isolating to like you can isolate the horizontal abduction more directly. But I like getting in the familiar position personally. So I'll get into like a coil-pause position like this, and then try to go towards, bring my hand close to my right pec, not all the way with this setup, a little bit in front, without uncoiling. And so just like this, boom, and make sure I'm not shrugging. It's pretty easy to accidentally shrug when doing this. And also make sure as I'm bringing it here, I'm pushing my elbow kind of away from my chest, scapular protraction. And after getting used to this, I can add a little bit of rotation as well and increase the weight slightly. So I have a video 5 months ago, my number one tip about the power pocket, and I show a pulley exercise in that video. So I'd been using the pulley like a few months before I released that power pocket video. So like 7 months now. In that previous video, I wasn't showing the deep pocket with this. I was focusing on a shallow pocket and the scapular protraction. Because at that time, I had already been trying a deep pocket for months, all the different common cues, and it wasn't working. So I just said, okay, I'm gonna accept it's not the right time for me now for a deep pocket. Maybe I'll figure it out later. But I still had some hope, and while using the pulley machine, occasionally, not very often, I'd mix in some deep pocket stuff, thinking and hoping that maybe as my arm gets more used to it, it'll just naturally start coming into my form. So it didn't turn out to feel like it was a big impact in my breakthrough. My breakthrough just felt like it came from, the new cue and changing the way I thought about the pull through. And then basically immediately a deep pocket was accessible to me, and it felt like it was accessible for a long time. If I just changed the way I thought about the pull through, I could have done it a lot sooner. However, maybe if your arm is not used to this position or it's not comfortable, when you try, if you try to put it there, feels like your body's kind of rejecting it, then something like this might be much more necessary to get your arm and body more used to it, more comfortable with it, so that you can then do it in an actual throw.